My name is David Kohler. And if you're listening to this recording, don't bother calling the police. They've already failed me. They'll fail you too. Just sell the house. Better yet, burn it. Because Jeff the killer doesn't leave. He just waits for the next family to move in. I learned that too late. I used to think Jeff the killer was a joke. A creepypasta from the early internet. A ghost story for teenagers who never grew out of sleepovers. You've seen the picture, right? The pale face, the black eyes, the smile cut ear to ear. I'd scrolled past it 100 times. Laughed at the bad Photoshop. Called it edgy nonsense. Then I bought the house on Sycamore Ridge. It was a foreclosure. Big, 2-story colonial, built in 1903, sitting on a wooded lot at the end of a gravel road. The price was laughably low. $40,000 below market value. The realtor, a jumpy guy named Peterson, kept glancing over his shoulder during the walkthrough. He wouldn't go into the basement. He said the stairs were unstable. He gave me the keys and practically ran to his car. I was recently divorced, 37, lonely, and stupid. I thought a fixer-upper would give me purpose. I moved in on a Tuesday with a greyhound mix named Barney and a suitcase full of bad decisions. The first night was ordinary. Too ordinary. No crickets. No wind. Just the sound of old wood groaning under its own weight. Barney curled up on the floor next to my air mattress in the living room. I fell asleep watching the ceiling fan turn. At 2:47 a.m., I woke up to a sound. Scrape. 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 Coming from the hallway closet. Not like a mouse. Like fingernails. Long, deliberate fingernails dragging down the inside of the door, one slow line at a time. I sat up. Barney didn't move. That should have scared me more. A dog that doesn't react to a strange noise in a new house. That means he already knew the sound. That means he'd been hearing it for hours. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and opened the closet. Empty. Coats. Shoes. Dust. But on the back wall, someone had scratched words into the drywall. Fresh scratches. The exposed gypsum was still powdery. Go to sleep, David. I laughed. A nervous, hollow laugh. I told myself it was a prank from the previous owner. I went back to bed. But I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling until dawn. The next day, I cleaned. I scrubbed the kitchen, patched the scratches, painted over them. I told myself I was being ridiculous. I even called my sister, Marie, and joked about the ghost in the closet. She laughed. Said I needed to get out more. That afternoon, I found the photograph. It was wedged behind the water heater in the basement. A Polaroid, faded and cracked. In the photo, a young boy, maybe 12, brown hair, normal face, stood in front of a birthday cake. He was smiling. A real smile. Happy. On the back, in pencil, Jeffrey, age 11. Before. Before what? I didn't know then. I know now. Before the bullies. Before the gasoline. Before the fire that melted his face and burned away whatever humanity he had left. Before he took a knife to his own cheeks and carved that permanent, hideous grin. I shoved the photo in my pocket and tried to forget it. That night, Barney disappeared. I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth. The door was open. Barney was lying in the hallway, right outside. I heard him sigh, that deep, contented dog sigh. Then I heard a whisper. Soft. Wet. Like someone speaking through a mouthful of saliva. Nice dog. I spit out the toothpaste and ran into the hallway. Barney was gone. The front door was still locked. The windows were closed. No holes in the floor. No open vents. He just vanished. Like he'd never existed. But on the floor where he'd been lying, there was a single tuft of gray fur. And a small puddle of something dark. Not water. Not oil. Blood. I searched the entire house. Every closet, every cupboard, every corner of the basement. Nothing. I called his name until my throat was raw. The only answer was a faint giggle from the attic. A childish, mocking giggle that trailed off into silence. I didn't sleep in the house that night. I slept in my truck, parked at a gas station 3 miles away. I didn't go back until noon the next day. Day 3. The day I made the worst decision of my life. My sister Marie called. She could hear the fear in my voice. "You're not staying there alone," she said. "Me and the kids are coming over. We'll make a night of it. Pizza, movies, the whole thing. You'll see. It's just an old house." I told her about Barney. About the whisper. About the giggle. She said, "You're letting your imagination run wild. We'll be there at 6. I should have said no. I should have driven to a hotel and never looked back. But I was terrified of being alone again. So I said yes. Marie arrived with her husband, Derek, and their 2 kids, Elena, 8, and Mateo, 6. They brought sleeping bags, a tablet for the kids, and a 6-pack of beer for Derek. Marie gave me a hug and said the house had good energy. Derek clapped me on the shoulder and said I needed to man up. The kids ran upstairs to claim bedrooms. Elena took the room at the end of the hall. Mateo took the one next to the bathroom. At 8:30 p.m., Mateo came downstairs. He was pale. His lower lip was trembling. "Uncle David," he whispered, tugging my shirt. "There's a man in my closet." My heart stopped. "What man?" "He's white," Mateo said. "All white. Like a ghost. And his eyes are black. And he's smiling. But it's not a happy smile. It's too big." I ran upstairs. I threw open Mateo's closet door. Clothes. Shoes. A board game. Nothing else. But when I turned around, Elena was standing in the doorway. Her face was blank. Completely expressionless. And she was holding something in her hand. A dog collar. Barney's collar. The leather was wet and warm. "He said to give you this," Elena said in a flat, hollow voice. "He said Barney says hello. From the basement." I grabbed Elena's shoulders. "Who said that? Who?" She blinked. Her eyes focused again. She looked confused. "I don't know," she whispered. "I don't remember." That's when the power went out. Not a flicker. Not a blown fuse. A total, absolute blackout. The lights died. The fridge stopped humming. The TV went dark. Even the tablet the kids had been playing with, fully charged, went black and wouldn't turn back on. We were in the dark. Complete, suffocating darkness. Marie screamed. Derek shouted for the kids. I fumbled for my phone. The flashlight turned on, and in the beam I saw Mateo standing at the top of the stairs, looking down into the living room. "He's here," Mateo said. "He's right behind you." I spun around. Nothing. But I heard breathing. Slow, steady, wet breathing. Right next to my ear. And then a voice. Soft. Almost gentle. The voice of someone who has forgotten how to feel pain. "Go to sleep, David." I swung my phone like a weapon. The light swept across the room. And I saw him. Jeff the killer. He was standing in the corner of the living room, half hidden by the shadows. But the light caught his face. God, I wish it hadn't. His skin was white. Not pale like a sick person. White like wax. White like a candle that's been melted and remolded into the shape of a man. His hair was long, black, and greasy, hanging over one side of his face. But the other side, the side I saw, was worse. His eyes were completely black. No iris. No white. Just two empty pits that seemed to drink in the light. And his mouth. That smile. The skin on his cheeks had been sliced open from the corners of his lips all the way to his ears. The cuts were old, scarred over. Pulled tight so that his teeth were always showing. Every single tooth. Some were broken. Some were missing. He was wearing a dirty white hoodie, splattered with dark stains. His hands were tucked in the front pocket. He was rocking slightly, back and forth, like a child waiting for a bus. And he was smiling at Marie. "You have a pretty smile," he whispered. "Can I have it?" Derek lunged. He was a big guy, 6'2", former football player. He grabbed a fire poker from the hearth and swung it at Jeff's head. The poker passed through empty air. Jeff was gone. And then he was behind Derek. I saw one pale hand reach around Derek's face. I saw those long, dirty fingers press against his mouth. Derek went rigid. His eyes rolled back. And then Jeff whispered something in his ear, something I couldn't hear, and Derek collapsed. Not dead. Just asleep. His chest was still rising and falling. But his face was slack. Peaceful. Written on his forehead, in what looked like dark red lipstick, was a single word. One. One what? Marie screamed. One what? Jeff tilted his head. His neck cracked like dry twigs. "One down," he said. "Two to go. Then the kids. Then you, David. We'll save the best for last." I grabbed Mateo and Elena and pushed them toward the front door. Marie was pulling Derek's body, trying to drag him. The door wouldn't open. The lock turned. The knob turned. But the door itself was frozen solid, like it had been welded into the frame. Jeff giggled. That same wet, childish giggle. It came from the staircase now. He was sitting on the third step, legs crossed, chin in his hands, watching us like we were a movie. "The door doesn't work at night," he said. "Only in the morning. That's the rule. You should have read the rule." "What rule?" I shouted. He smiled wider, impossibly wider. "The rule I just made up." Then he stood up. And he walked, not ran, not lunged, just walked, straight toward Marie. She screamed. I threw a lamp at him. It shattered against the wall. He didn't even flinch. He just reached out and touched her cheek with one finger. A single, gentle touch. And Marie went limp. Her eyes closed. She fell into my arms, breathing slowly, deeply. On her forehead, the word appeared as if written by an invisible hand. 2. "Stop," I yelled. "Take me. Take me and leave them alone." Jeff stopped. He looked at me. Those black, empty eyes seemed to look right through my skull into the back of my brain. "Oh, I will," he said. "But first, I want you to watch. That's the game. You watch. And then you tell the police. And then they come. And then they disappear. And then no one ever believes you. And then you come back to the house. Because you have to know. And I'll be here. Waiting. Smiling." He reached for Elena. I grabbed her first. I pulled her behind me. Mateo was already clinging to my leg. I backed toward the kitchen, looking for a knife, a gun, anything. Jeff didn't follow. He just stood there. Rocking. Smiling. "It's okay," he said. "I'll wait. I'm very patient. I waited in the last house for 40 years. I can wait 10 more minutes." I found a butcher knife. I swung it at the back door. The blade bounced off the wood like it was made of steel. The door wouldn't break. Neither would the windows. I was trapped. When I turned back to the living room, Jeff was gone. And so was Marie. And so was Derek. And so was Elena. Only Mateo remained. He was lying on the floor, exactly where I'd left him. His eyes were closed. He was breathing. And on his forehead was the word. I picked him up and ran to the front door one more time. This time, it opened. The lock clicked. The knob turned. I burst out into the cold night air, Mateo in my arms, and I didn't stop running until I reached the main road. I called 911 from a stranger's porch. The police came. They brought search dogs. They brought thermal imaging. They searched every inch of that house and the surrounding woods. They found nothing. No Marie. No Derek. No Elena. No Jeff. No dog collar. No scratches on the closet wall. No photograph of a boy named Jeffrey. The basement was clean. The attic was empty. The doors all opened and closed normally. The lead detective, a woman named Harris, looked at me with tired eyes and said, "Mr. Kohler, are you sure you didn't imagine this? Stress can do terrible things." I showed her Mateo's forehead. The word 3 was still there. Faint, but visible. She took a photo. She said she'd look into it. That was 2 weeks ago. Mateo is in a pediatric psychiatric ward now. He doesn't speak. He just smiles. All the time. A wide, too wide smile. The nurses are scared of him. I'm scared of him too. Because last night, I visited him. He leaned close to my ear and whispered, using a voice that wasn't his own, a wet, scratchy, giggling voice. "Tell them about the basement, David. Tell them where the bodies are buried." "Oh wait, you can't. Because they're not buried. They're with me." We're all smiling now. Then Mateo blinked, and his eyes were normal again. He asked for juice. He didn't remember anything. So here I am. In a motel room. Writing this down. The police won't help. The FBI won't come. The news won't report it because there's no evidence. But I know the truth. Jeff the killer is real. He doesn't kill you. He takes you. He makes you into one of his smiles. And he lives in the dark places, the closets, the basements, the attics, waiting for someone to buy the wrong house. I'm never going back to Sycamore Ridge. But I can hear tapping at my motel window. It's 2:47 a.m. And there's a face in the glass. Pale. Black-eyed. Smiling. He found me. So if you're listening to this, don't look for me. Don't look for my family. Just remember the rule. Never stay in the house on the third night. Because Jeff the killer is always there. Always smiling. And when he whispers, "Go to sleep," he doesn't mean forever. He means he's just getting started.